Okay, input output exception, SQL exception, class not found. You are trying to access a class which you haven't declared. All these are checked exceptions, whereas unchecked exceptions are exceptions whose handling is not verified during compile time. It's like a runtime exception. The runtime exceptions like arithmetic exception, null pointer exception, array index out of bound exception, illegal state exception. All these are called unchecked exceptions. You can see here we are trying to access the fifth element of an array, and so it is generating array index out of bound exception, which is an unchecked exception which occurs at the runtime. Coming to exception handling techniques. How exceptions are managed in Java? જાવામાં exceptions કેવી રીતે manage થાય છે? To manage exceptions in Java, there is a try catch block. Try block મૂકવામાં આવે જેમાં probably exceptions generate થાય. That code is put in try block. A exception ને manage કરવા માટે there is a catch block. Then there is a throw keyword, throws keyword, and finally block. These four things, try and catch will go together. એકલું catch નહીં ચાલે ક્યારે. Try catch, throw, throws અને finally block. આ બધા keywords ની help થી જાવામાં exception handling manage થાય છે. Try keyword. The try keyword is used to specify a block where we should place an exception code. કોઈ code જેમાં આપણને લાગે કે exception occur થશે. There is a possibility that exception might occur. That block is put inside the try block. It means we can use try block alone. Try block એકલો પણ use થશે. Try block must be followed by either a catch block or a finally block. Try no mean purpose ત્યારે solve થશે જ્યારે either there is a catch block following it or a finally block following it. Try પછી second is catch block. The catch block is used to handle the exception. જે exception try block માં occur થાય છે. The exceptions which are occurring in try block are handled in catch block. જાવામાં try અને catch છે. પાયથનમાં try અને except છે. It must be preceded by try block. Catch block must be preceded by try block, which means we can't use catch block alone. It can be followed by finally block later. Catch ની પછી જો finally block તમે finally block compulsory નથી. But if you are putting a finally block, it will be first we catch, there will be a catch block, and then there will be a finally block. Finally block. It is used to execute the necessary code of the program. It is executed whether an exception is handled or not. Try block માં એવો કોડ મૂકવામાં આવશે જેમાં exception અને finally block માં એવો કોડ મૂકવામાં આવે which will be always executed even if there is an exception or there is no exception. Finally block માં જે કોડ મૂકવામાં આવે એ compulsorily execute થશે. Exception occur થાય કે ન થાય, finally block is always executed. Then there is a throw keyword. Now see this throw and throws આ બંને differently work કરે છે જાવામાં. So whenever you use it, properly use it. The throw keyword is used to throw an exception. જ્યારે user explicitly exception throw કરે, explicitly, then throw keyword is used. Whereas throws keyword, it is used to declare an exception. It specifies that there may occur an exception in the method. It does not throw an exception. It is always used with method signature. જ્યારે કોઈ મેથડ ડિક્લેર કરીએ એની સાથે થ્રોસ કીવર્ડ ડિક્લેર થશે. ક્લાસ, સો ક્લાસ નેમ થ્રોસ IO exception. એ ક્લાસ આખો IO exception થ્રો કરશે. Or it throws any another exception. So the difference between throw and throws, જ્યારે explicitly exception throw કરવાનું હોય પ્રોગ્રામમાં ત્યારે throw keyword use થશે, simple throw. Whereas when we want to declare, કોઈ ક્લાસમાં આપણે exception declare કરીએ છીએ, જેમ કે આપણે user defined exception create કરીએ છીએ, at that time throws keyword is used. Proper screenshot લઈ લેજો આનો. All these are important terms. Question exam માં પૂછાય કે explain exception handling mechanism in Java, or how exceptions are handled in Java. Then you have to write this, that exceptions are handled in Java with the help of following keywords: try, catch, finally, throw and throws. અને આ બધાનું explanation. Try catch block. The Java try block is used to enclose the code that might throw an exception. It must be used within the method. Java try block must be followed by either catch or finally block. The syntax of try catch: curly brace opens, then here code that may throw exception. એવો કોડ કે જેમાં exception occur થઈ શકે. try block અહીંયા થશે with curly bracket. Catch is the keyword, જે કોઈ exception હોય એનો object. You can put some code over here also between these two brackets of exception. Try finally block. Try અને finally. Even try, catch and then finally block. That is also acceptable in Java. Catch block. Catch block is used to handle exception. That it must be used after try block only. You can use multiple catch block with a single try block. એક try block ની સાથે multiple catch blocks નો પણ use થાય છે. Now see, this is a problem without exception handling. How it is working? Just see. We have taken a class try, test, try, catch. In that class, we have our public static void main. In our main method, we have an integer variable data. Data is equal to 50 divided by 0. આપણે directly application, right? And then there is a system.out.println statement. Now when we try to execute this code, આ કોડ ને જ્યારે આપણે રન કરીએ, બરાબર, કમ્પાઇલ કરીએ તો કમ્પાઇલ થઈ જશે. જ્યારે આપણે રન કરીએ ત્યારે શું આઉટપુટ જનરેટ થશે? in thread java main java.lang.arithmetic exception divide by 0. આપણો મેઇન પ્રોગ્રામ પણ થ્રેડ છે. કઈ થ્રેડ? મેઇન થ્રેડ. happens .lang જે by default package છે એમાંથી arithmetic exception, it is throwing arithmetic exception. Which exception? Divide by 0. You can see the divide sign is here as displayed in above code. Rest of the code કારણ કે જ્યારે આ લાઈન પર ઇન્ટરપ્રિટર આવશે, it will throw the exception. પછી આ કોડ છે એ પ્રિન્ટ થશે નહીં. Rest of the code is not executed. It is not printed. એ ડિસ્પ્લે થશે નહીં. ખાલી એક જ લાઈન છે, but there can be hundreds lines of codes after exception. હવે સપોઝ કે અહીંયા બીજી ઘણું બધું હોય, તો એકવાર એક એક્સેપ્શન આવ્યું પ્રોગ્રામમાં, પછી આગળ કંઈ એક્ઝિક્યુટ થશે નહીં. Rest of the program will be terminated. So all the code after exception will not be executed. આવું ન થાય. સપોઝ કે પ્રોગ્રામમાં કોઈ કોડ છે જેમાં કોઈ એક્સેપ્શન અકર થાય, એક્સેપ્શનને મેનેજ કરી, હેન્ડલ કરી અને પ્રોગ્રામ શુડ ગો ઓન ફર્ધર. પ્રોગ્રામ વચ્ચેથી એન્ડ થવો જોઈએ નહીં. ઇટ શુડ નોટ ટર્મિનેટ એબનોર્મલી. એના માટે આપણે એક્સેપ્શન હેન્ડલિંગ મિકેનિઝમનો યુઝ કરીએ છીએ. Now see how this will be managed. The same program is here. We have taken public class test try catch, public static void main string args. In try block, આપણે try block માં we have put this, right? Integer data is equal to 50 divided by 0. Try block begins here, it ends here, and after try we have catch. Catch arithmetic exception E. E is the object of arithmetic exception class. And a catch block ma system.out.println. E. Println E. We are printing code E. I will put it in another way so that can be better known. So now you see here, try block માં આપણે એવો કોડ મૂક્યો જે probably exception occur થશે at this point. In catch block, we are getting exception E and printing E. That is the અને એની પછી block અહીંયા ending here. It starts here, it ends here. And here at this point, we have the system println, which means and this our when we compile the program will be compiled, and when we run the program, the output is જ્યારે આ કોડ એક્ઝિક્યુટ થશે, exception in thread main java.lang arithmetic exception divided by it is printing this, and then થઈ ગયા પછી એ આ સ્ટેટમેન્ટ પર જશે. The program will move on to the next line, which is system.out.println, and rest of the code is printed. Rest of the code check. This line was not printed. because we didn't use try catch mechanism. Here we have put the code in try block, catch block થી એને catch કર્યો. So the program is not terminated abnormally in this case. So this is how we will be using try catch mechanism in Java. Java multiple catch blocks. If you have to perform different tasks at the exceptions, use multiple Java multi try and catch blocks. We can see here how it is working. We have a class. Class ની અંદર આપણું main છે. Then in try block, we have initialized an array A with 5 elements, which is of integer type. Now 5 elements છે. New int 5. એટલે કેટલા એની index કેટલી થઈ? 0, 1, 2, 4. And then we are trying to initialize A of 5. Actually array ક્યાં સુધી જશે? 0 to 4 સુધી. A of 5 equal to 30 divided by 0. Now here we have taken 2 catch blocks. એક try block સાથે 2 catch block છે Java. Catch arithmetic exception E. And there we are printing task 1 is completed. Second, we can have probably array index out of bound exception. Why? Because we are trying to access A of 5. And we are simply printing task 2 completed. And E, the supermost class છે, exception class છે દરેક class નો. Catch exception E, common task completed. So whichever exception is acceptable, that will be managed. જે કોઈ exception occur થશે, that will be managed here. So what happens here? And then the rest of the code. So when we execute the program, when we compile the program, it will be compiled. And when we run the program, first it will execute this line 30 divided by 0. And immediately the control of the program will be transferred to first exception, first catch block. That is arithmetic exception E. It will print task 1 is completed. એ પહેલામાં જશે, ત્યાં જ અટકી જશે. પછી it is not necessary to move on to the another catch blocks. And then it will directly print rest of the code. So here you can see that there are multiple. જો તમને કોઈ particular exception યાદ ન હોય, you can write this. Catch exception E. Exception class is the supermost class of all the exceptions in Java. But the program will not terminate normally here. Program આ જગ્યાએ abnormally terminate થશે નહીં. So here you can see that with one try block, we have used 3 catch blocks. 3 અલગ-અલગ catch blocks નો use કર્યો છે. Nested try. More than one try blocks and catch blocks. Nested try catch. Even this can be done. We have taken a class, then there is a main method. Class પર main છે with capital M. Then we have our public static void main string args. See all these programs, નાના programs જેટલા પણ બતાવું છું, list સિવાયના છે. And then you will be clear with the concepts in Java. In first try, we have taken an integer array A, જેમાં આપણે initialize કરેલી છે. Then we are displaying element at index 8. 8th index per element આપણે display કરશું. System.out.println and A of 8. Then in the same try block, we have created another try. So it is where we are printing division, and we have a variable res is equal to 100 divided by 0. A try block અંદરના try block સાથે જે છે એ exception arithmetic exception. This is the second try block. This is the second try block અને એની સાથે catch arithmetic exception E, whatever we want to give the name. આ આપણા પર છે. Whatever name we wish we can give here. And we are printing a message. Sorry, division by 0 is not possible. Block. આ catch block અહીં હશે. Clear? Then this try block, આ try block અહીંયા પૂરો થયો જે અહીંયાથી સ્ટાર્ટ થાય છે. એની સાથે catch block array index out of bound exception. To access any elements which are not a part of the array. જેમ કે કેટલા elements છે અહીંયા? 1, 2, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 and 10. 10 elements એટલે 0 to 9. એટલે જ્યારે આપણે a of 8 print કરીએ છીએ, it will print 160 here, which is very much within the limits. But if I write a of 11, then it will even print array index out of bound exception. It will print array index out of bound exception if we are trying to access any element which is not there in array, because array is of size 10. So elements can be accessed from a of 0 to a of 9. So what is the output of the program? Element at index 8 is 160. Yes. Then when it executes this try block, result is equal to 100 by 0. The control will be transferred to this second catch block. Arithmetic exception is generated and it will print, sorry, division by 0 is not visible. Proper screenshot. શું ના સમજાણું બેટા?
આમાં જ આ એક્ઝામ્પલમાં
example, right? We take this example. આપણે આ લઈએ પછી એ કરાવું તમને. Okay. We take this example. You have to save the file with the same name, right? આપણે save file. Now we'll run it. program is compiled. This is our program. We have compiled the program. આ program આપણે અહીંયા compile કરી દીધો. Now we will run the program. You can see here java.lang arithmetic exception e. આ કેમ પ્રિન્ટ થઈ આ લાઈન? કારણ કે આપણે અહીંયા system.out.println e and then the rest of the code is executed. હવે સપોઝ કે આ વસ્તુ હું આ ટ્રાય કેચમાંથી કાઢી નાખું. if I remove this, સપોઝ કે હું આ ટ્રાય કેચમાંથી કાઢી દઉં છું, કમેન્ટમાં મૂકી દઉં છું. Whenever we make any changes to the program, we have to compile it. Now see here. What happened? Try catch block. Because arithmetic exception occurred, it executes. The rest of the code print થયો નહીં. Yes. So the exception occurred, but it is not managed. We will see some other programs for moving on any further. This is multiple catch block with a single try block. We have taken multiple exception. We have taken a integer number, right? And in try block, what we are doing? Num of 2. Now you can see here, it is num of 0, num of 1 and num of 2. Num of 2 is equal to num of 0 divided by n. And then we are dividing it with num of 0. We have used two catch blocks. અહીંયા આપણે બે catch block નો use કર્યો છે with the same try block. One is arithmetic exception, another is index out of bounds exception. And then at the last we have out of program. The line we have printed is out of program. So here. Now we compile and run this program. See here. What happens? First it will print out of bounds error, and then કે આપણે num of access કર્યું અહીંયા. Num of 2, 0, 1 and 2, right? Num 4, 4 divided by 10, okay. Point answer આવી શકે. Next statement. આ statementમાં આપણે num of 3. Now there is no num of 3. Fourth variable array નો આપણી પાસે છે નહીં. So what happens here? It will go into this catch block, index out of bound exception, and it will print out of bounds error, and then this will be executed out of program. Yes, આ clear થાય છે? આટલું સમજાય છે?
Yes, ma'am.
Yes, ma'am.
Right? આ ખબર પડી કેવી રીતે મેનેજ થયું?
Yes, ma'am.
Yes, ma'am.
આનો પણ એક તમે સ્ક્રીનશોટ લેજો, બરાબર? so that you can run it. I will show you few more programs જેથી આપણને concept clear થઈ જાય. લેવાઈ ગયું છે આનો સ્ક્રીનશોટ?
Yes, ma'am.
Yes, ma'am.
Now see here, I'll show you use of finally block also. I've taken a class math mistake 1. It has a number variable equal to 13, denominator equal to 0, and a result variable. What we are doing? Result is equal to number divided by denominator. So again, it will be divide by 0. So first it will catch this arithmetic exception and attempt to divide by 0. This will be printed and finally block. Whether an exception occurs or not, finally block is always executed. So we see here how it works. So it will print attempt to divide by 0 and finally block. કોઈ exception occur થાય કે ન થાય, finally block is always executed. અહીંયા divide by 0 exception occur થયું, arithmetic exception occur થયું, એટલા માટે it has printed this. But now suppose if I remove this 1 કરી દઉં, right, then there is no arithmetic exception. કોઈ exception occur નહીં થાય, કારણ કે 1 you can perfectly divide a number by. તો હવે આઉટપુટ શું આવવું જોઈએ? હવે શું આઉટપુટ આવે? હા, ફાઇનલ.
Only for final blocks.
Yes. So now the output is finally block executed. Why? Because there is no exception in the program. This is also perfectly acceptable. જરૂરી નથી કે દરેક પ્રોગ્રામમાં exception occur થાય. આપણે કેમ આ પ્રોગ્રામ કરીએ છીએ? Because we want to understand the concept of exception handling. અને આ કન્સેપ્ટનો ક્યારે યુઝ થાય? When we are working with long code. તો એવા કોઈ કોડ પ્રોબેબલી જ્યાં એરિથમેટિક કે કોઈ પણ એક્સેપ્શન અકર થતું હોય, એ કોડને આપણે ટ્રાય બ્લોકમાં મૂકવાનો છે, જેથી કરીને કદાચ પણ એક્સેપ્શન અકર થાય, then it is managed, but the program does not terminate abnormally. Clear? આ સમજાણું the difference?
Yes, ma'am.
Yes? Okay. Now see what we are doing here. Catching invalid command line argument. We have taken a class, there is a main program. એક વેરિયેબલ આપણે ઇનિશિયલાઇઝ કર્યો છે, invalid equal to 0. That is number of invalid arguments. Then there is a number variable and a count variable. What we are taking is, we are integer dot parse int. Now see how it runs. કદાચ આપણે મીટિંગ પૂરી થઈ જાય તો નેક્સ્ટ લેક્ચરમાં we will continue this. Now see, we are converting it into integer. તો 45 ને 67 કન્વર્ટ થશે, પણ હેલો અને હાઈ કન્વર્ટ થશે નહીં. તો એ ઇનવેલિડ આર્ગ્યુમેન્ટ્સને કેચ કરશે ઇન નંબર ફોર્મેટ એક્સેપ્શન E. ઇટ વિલ પ્રિન્ટ ઇનવેલિડ નંબર, એટલે આર્ગ્સ ઓફ I માં જે કંઈ હેલો હાઈ જે કોઈ ઇનવેલિડ એટલે કે સ્ટ્રિંગ આર્ગ્યુમેન્ટ્સ છે એને પ્રિન્ટ કરશે. એન્ડ ઇટ ઇઝ કાઉન્ટિંગ. વી હેવ યુઝડ કન્ટિન્યુઅસ સ્ટેટમેન્ટ હિયર. count is equal to count plus 1. કેટલી વેલિડ આર્ગ્યુમેન્ટ્સ છે? 2, અને ઇનવેલિડ કેટલી છે? 2. Right? So you can see how it is working. Here it is considering જે integer inputs છે એ જ તે valid arguments છે, whereas string inputs are invalid arguments. There are so many programs. Programs તો બહુ બધા છે, અને concept ક્યારે જ clear થશે જ્યારે તમે